everyone, I'm Case Aiken. Now, considering that I have already gotten to the Supergirl of the 90s and early 2000s, it's fair to say that the timeline is a bit jumbled, but that's appropriate for today's character, because for my Superman analog today, we're talking about Karen Starr, aka Kara Zor-El, aka Power Girl. So when she was introduced in the 70s, Power Girl was from Earth 2, the alternate reality where all the Golden Age superheroes were from. This was from the prime era of the original DC multiverse, and she was presented as her world's version of Supergirl. But given that this was the 70s, and the characters on her world had been operating since the 40s, Superman had had a 40-year career at this point. It was in this same era that we would get Infinity Inc., which was a group of teen children of all those 1940s superheroes. So now, I've heard this story is apocryphal, but it's become so famous that it is part of the lore of the character. And that's when discussing, shall we say, some of her more notable attributes. You see, the story goes that when Wally Wood originally designed the character, he kept increasing her bust size issue over issue, waiting for someone from editorial to say something. And it just never happened. And now that element has become a defining characteristic for the character. And again, I've been told that that is apocryphal, but it is a really funny story and people like to tell it, so I'm telling it here. And obviously her design did emphasize her boobs. Sorry, I just gotta say it. And sometimes it was with a boob window and sometimes it was with a plunging neckline, but eventually it got really extreme. And to counterbalance this sort of sexualized portrayal of the character, Power Girl was given a much tougher, no-nonsense personality compared to her Earth 1 counterpart, Kara Zor-El. And this was somewhat justified because she lost a lot of her life when she traveled to Earth from Krypton. She emerged as an adult rather than as a youth, as the Earth 1 version had. This concoction of a tough attitude with classic Superman-type powers and visual aid, I guess we will call it, was a big reason for why the character survived the Crisis on Infinite Earths in the 80s. However, the rule about no other Kryptonians meant that her origin was retconned several times, including at one point making her Atlantean with magical powers. During this period where she was supposed to have an Atlantean origin, her weaknesses were changed from kryptonite to anything natural, such as wood. During this period, they also tried out other costumes, none of which stuck, and it's a good thing that she keeps reverting back to a more classic style. The Power Girl outfit is really good. The white bodysuit looks distinct from Supergirl, while at the same time still feeling like part of the same family, despite no other member of the super family having a white bodysuit. And that's complemented by the blue gloves and boots. And it's been further improved upon with various design flourishes, such as piping along the body and a repositioning of the cape to more resemble a royal cloak. It's a design that allows for a lot of permutations without really looking like a totally different design. And oh hey, I should probably note that there's always been this weird parallel between Power Girl and Ms. Marvel, specifically Carol Danvers. For one thing, Carol Danvers already has a name that reflects the Karen first name, but then Danvers is traditionally the last name of Supergirl in any of her forms. I mean, both characters have take no bullshit types of attitudes, and also both characters were involved in terrible stories involving magically induced pregnancies. And then she had a renaissance in the late 90s, early 2000s, which restored her classic look and eventually her classic origin as well. And now since then, she has often been paired with Supergirl as sort of a big sister type, and usually has been depicted as a friend of Huntress, which in the original Earth 2 timeline was the daughter of Batman with Catwoman. And this continues the Super Bat alliance across realities and timelines. She would be a part of the New 52 era, though with controversy around her costume. However, I'm just happy that this Take Charge lady is back on the front lines of DC Comics. She's complicated and weird, and that's what comics are for, right? Well, next time we're going to talk about an attempt to simplify Power Girl, but until then, stay super, man. Hey everyone, I just wanted to thank you for staying to the end of the episode. Please do all the YouTube stuff, liking and subscribing and all of that. Thank you. We've been getting really great feedback here, and I love to see this channel grow. So thank you for that. Also, check out the podcast that goes along with this. It's at certainpov.com. There's a ton of great shows there, so check those out. But, just thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great week.